So, last one for today before I go insane. TOK. TOK. What the heck is TOK? It's called Theory of Knowledge. It's perhaps the closest equivalent you are going to get to philosophy in the IB, and everyone's forced to take it, right? you enroll in the IB, there's no escape from this crap. Oof. The thing about TOK is, just like any other subject in the IB, there is no in between. There's no, oh, the subject is meh. No, you're either genuinely excited about it, or it's dog crap. It's in the ditch, it's in the sewers, it smells absolutely disgusting. It's like a rotting corpse that no one wants to go near, because it's just so absolutely disgusting. That's TOK. The thing about TOK is it genuinely asks a good question. How do we know things? What the hell is knowledge? How? Right? How do humans perceive things? How do we, as human, know what we know? It's good questions. It's genuinely good, big questions. Thing is, once again, the IB, I would say, overstep its boundaries, just like a lot of things. It goes into genuine topics that the world's leading professionals have no answers to. It's the brain is so complex. TOK should just be switched to biology half the fracking time and just discuss about the brain for a whole 2 years, 2 semesters, well, 4 semesters, a whole 4 semester. Why would it ever discuss about anything else? Just discuss the brain itself. You would definitely have 2 years of content to talk about that, and in the end we could write an essay about like, I don't know, I have a good example. Say how, I think it's called pistachio. It's definitely not.
It's 13:30.
It's 13:30. I think it's called pistachio. I don't know. It's food, right? Let's say you smell this food. How do you know that this food is safe to eat, and which area of the brain interacts with that? Say something like that. That would actually be a good thing. That's a TOK exhibition and a TOK essay along with it. Exhibition, you do 3 things that are similar to one another, but how do you, in a sense, differentiate one thing to another? Let's say like a sense of touch. I touch this thing, right? This plate, that's porcelain, right? How do I know that this plate, when I touch another thing that's porcelain, how do I know it's not a plate, right? And say, I don't know, we take a certain thing only that is the sense of touch, right? We try to put out our ears, we try to put out our nose, we try to close our eyes and all the other things. Just a sense of touch, right? And then you choose 3 objects and you say, these are the areas of the brain that activates, that shows us how, okay, this thing's not a plate, and this thing is something else, even though it's all made out of porcelain. I don't know, you could take a vase or something, right? And then you take another thing that's also made out of porcelain, but it's not a plate nor a vase. But how do you know it's not that, in a sense? Like, TOK could be something like that. And then a TOK essay would be something a little bit bigger, something that involves all the 5 senses. In a sense, let's say we have a treadmill over here. You have a treadmill over there. How do we know with all the 5 senses that's a goddamn treadmill? Something like that, right? TOK could be something like that, but it's not. It begs more philosophical questions. But once again, typical IB fashions, not only does it overstep its line on its complexity, making it extremely complex a lot of the time. A good example would be search up the prescribed TOK essay 2021. I think it's 2022 at this point. And just look at the questions. Look at the questions. It is horrendous. Our class had the TOK essay titles prescribed to us pretty recently, around 2 weeks ago. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrendous what the questions were asking, because half the time you think to yourself, what are these questions phrased? Like, it asked far too arbitrary and complex questions in a plane where half the time you're being bombarded with information from other stuff anyway. So the IB fails, in my opinion, to do really anything with TOK. You are introducing an extremely arbitrary and extremely complex subject. It is stupendously complex. If anything, you could probably say it's the most complex thing of all time. Because if we just had a debate on morals, right? Good question. Should children be aborted or not? And if yes, to what extent? Something like that could probably get an entire class riled up. Hell, it would get a group of perhaps 5 people riled up. Some would say, oh, if you look at it from a biological standpoint, it's this and that. But if you look at it from an ethics standpoint, the moment you say ethics, it's deforesting so many other people. Some people will be completely fine killing animals all the time if they grow up on a farm. Other people that live in a city, when they see people slaughter pigs, they would think, oh my god, that's horrible, I should go vegan. It deforests so easily, right? And that means you introduce in something extremely complex and something that is very debatable across so many areas. The moment you said knowledge, that just means like you try to combine everything you've learned so far and boil it down to something that is actually debatable. How the hell would you do that? Simply put, you can't. It's too complex. It's stupid. If anything, I have to denounce it as being stupid. Even if you have the most competent teacher in the world, they would probably not get information to genuinely every single one of you that make you think, holy crap, this is actually interesting. Because you are putting a question that is fundamental. It's not like mathematics, where a lot of time you could say, well, I don't quite care, right? It's not like physics, where you could say the same. It's not like English, where you could say the same. It's not like every other subject. But you are questioning something that is fundamental to humans. Such as something, what is the meaning of life? Or what happens after we die? And why are we afraid of death? Something like this is more or less a TOK question. How do we know what death is? How do we know if there's an afterlife or not? How do we know what the hell the meaning of life is? You introduce this extremely complex question and you expect to perhaps cram in 4 lessons, I think, a week of this thing. That, moreover, you shove so many things down our throats, like areas of knowledge, like AOK and I don't freaking know, EOK or something. I don't freaking know. It's like areas of knowledge and things of knowledge. It's too complex. It's just too much. It's simply too much. And half the time, if you actually have a good TOK class, you probably left the class wondering, I want to talk more about this question because it's actually good, right? I mean, just talking about a certain person's blood work, just the blood work, right? We're not talking about, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Talking about, say, something that is quite fundamental. Give me a second to think. There we go. Is my blue the same as your blue? Something like this could spiral down to a 4-hour conversation pretty easily if people just have some research beforehand. But surprise, surprise, that's not the case. So then you have an excess amount of time where you have to do your own stuff, but then you can't get it out. It's simply put. So the IB is a paradox. It is like a parody of the education system, I would have to say sometimes. It's an extremely crap system, and even worse, if you actually watch this video and say, well, that's not what TOK is about. It isn't just talking about philosophy and other things like that. It is more perhaps specific to how do we know the thing that we know, even though that completely comes under the philosophical range of stuff anyway. And definitely the meaning of life is perhaps definitely something that you can twist to TOK anyway. I definitely argue that. But even worse, just as I said, you need an extremely competent teacher for TOK. Surprise, surprise. Sadly, the contemporary 11th to 12th grade, wait, no, I should not have said that. The 11th and 12th grade right now at my school, we have a bad TOK teacher. We really, really do. The TOK teacher sadly does not know anything about TOK and is extremely stressed out with school stuff. sadly. So that means this TOK teacher, well crap, we barely learn anything about TOK and practically, I don't know, fling the crap halfway through, like the entire way through, if anything, the entire course of TOK. So, if you have something so complex, why would you ever give it to a position of someone who half the time does not understand what the hell they're completely talking about? It's so hard. It really, really is. So then, once again, just think how IB is like a recipe of a cake disaster. You have the underlying issues of already so many subjects. Then you slap on that another cherry on top, and it's not a nice cherry, it's a rotten cherry, okay? It has a bunch of cyanide in it. Like you can sniff it from a mile away. Right? It's absolutely disgusting. You eat it, boom, you die instantly. And that's TOK. That's the cherry on top. It is so fundamentally difficult. My question is, why would the IB ever do something like this? You could say, oh, it's to disseminate more knowledge. True, I get that. Yes, of course I want children to be more educated. Huh? You think I'm not passionate about education? Well, definitely. However, that's not the way to go about it. Sadly, I can only draw parallels to working out. Reading and learning to your mind is like workout to your body. You don't go in the gym, run for 30 minutes extremely hard. I'm saying like straight on all you got for 30 minutes, and then you go lift extremely heavy weights. You don't do that. Why would you do that? If I see you do that, I would call you an idiot. Because simply put, it's too much. You're literally, it's not exaggeration, but you're, actually, well, it is exaggeration if I do say you are killing yourself. But it's not exaggeration to say your muscles are literally diffusing into your bloodstream because you're bringing your body up to such an extent of strenuous activity that the muscle is just, yeah, no, we don't want to exist anymore. You've broken us down too much. Why would we exist anymore? Good job. You're dumb and stupid. And that's what the IB is. It makes you smarter for the moment, but then the moment you go out, you think to yourself, what the hell did I just learn? You don't do more. You think you do more by cramming more things into your brain. Doesn't mean you actually know more. And this is the problem with the IB. It's like a marketing scam, you could say. It definitely can change life. I will not deny that. It's definitely good at some point. I will not deny that. But TOK is like the embodiment of bad IBism. IBism is an idea, but like how bad the IB is. So what's the tip that you got from all this? Well, TOK is very bad. And perhaps the tip that I would give to absolutely everything else in the IB program, search it up online. Literally, the IB is like a test. Search it up goddamn online. Okay? Search it up online. Okay? If you have a competent teacher, maybe you don't have to search that up online. If you don't, well, better get those fingers typing.